everyone, I hope you're doing well and having a wonderful day. I'm here to do an intuitive card reading to see what insights, guidance, and messages the universe has for you regarding questions that you have and you seeking out answers. So let's take a look at the cards to see what comes up. Okay, so we have, getting stuck, we have last moon in Gemini, clear your mind. Yeah, the thing is, our mind can be this powerful, wonderful tool and resource, but we can kind of become our own worst enemy. We can end up holding ourselves back based on our beliefs, our thoughts, the narratives that we're telling ourselves, and we can be spending all this energy running around in mental circles, overanalyzing, which leads to, analysis paralysis and, just trying to figure everything out. And it's not bad to use your mind. It's not bad to think things through, to try to prepare, to, think about what could happen, use your experiences to, try to plan out your best course of action. But if you have all this mental chatter and you're going nowhere fast and you're just kind of spinning around in circles, you can exhaust yourself. You can confuse yourself even further. So clear your mind. Don't get so caught up in the mental chatter. Take some time to pause, to breathe, to relax, to journal, to, reflect, whether that be, talking to yourself, talking to someone else, just like getting your thoughts and all that out, even do a meditation. Because once you clear your mind and you get centered and focused, it's going to be a lot easier to proceed. When you are, kind of spending your energy everywhere because you're running around in those mental circles, it's going to be a lot harder to find the answers that you're looking for. So make sure to clear your mind, because the mind is a powerful tool, but it can, work against itself if you're not careful. Yeah, last quarter moon in Capricorn, leave the past behind. That's not to say that you forget everything that you've ever experienced, that it was, worthless, like you gotta, cut ties and be like, nothing in this, I gain nothing from it. The past can be a wonderful teacher. It's what got you to where you are today. So don't, hate your past and be like, oh, it was awful. But also know that the past is the past. It is not the present moment. So you can let go of the past. You don't have to keep carrying around, all this emotional baggage, these past wounds, because things don't have to keep playing out the same way. And yes, you can gain a lot of valuable insight from the past. It's a wonderful teacher. It made you who you are. It gave you all the strength you have today. But what happens a lot of the times is the past ends up influencing the present, because we then, start being like, oh, well, this is the truth because I've had all these past experiences. I have all this quote unquote evidence. So this is how it works out. But let's say you have this past of having all these unhealthy relationships, whether that be with family, friends, co-workers, bosses, romantic interests, whatever it may be. Let's say you have that past, and so you started telling yourself, all people are horrible. All people are going to, use you like a tool. They don't actually care. They don't look out for you. They are heartless, and you become, bitter and jaded and resentful, and you just become disinterested in people as a whole because you've had all these experiences of people mistreating you, of them neglecting you, of them, abandoning of you, all these things that are hurtful. That's not to say that it didn't happen, but the select people that you have come across is not representative of every single person. There are people out there who would love to get to know you, who would cherish you, who would nurture you and guide you and protect you and just enjoy being around you and having fun with you. So, in that example, know that it's okay to leave the past behind, to say goodbye to like toxic relationships and open up the door of possibility for all these new healthy relationships. Now that you know better, you can do better. You have learned from your past. You've learned what, healthy relationships are and are not because of all the past examples of these horrible ones. And so you can then make space for all these people who actually treat you well. So it's okay to leave the past behind. You don't have to keep dragging it around with you and having it weigh you down. Because it's not your here and now. You have the chance to do better. You have a chance to, have all this wonderfulness come into your life. But if you are, getting boggled down by the past and start thinking that's all that will ever be, that nothing more can happen, it's going to shape up your present and your future. Yeah. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself I am love and miracles are natural. Because our expectations, our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, the narratives we tell ourselves, they become our reality. Where we spend our time, energy, and attention will grow. It will build momentum. More and more of it will show up into our lives. So, if you are focusing on the positive, if you're focusing on love and joy and peace and prosperity and fun, you will get more of that. If you believe miracles are not only possible, but natural, the universe will be able to work its magic for you. You won't have to get caught up in all of the hows and the what ifs and, oh, that's just not realistic. You can clear your mind having those mindful moments and realizing that anything and everything is possible, that you can be surprised and be blessed by what the universe is causing for you, what is working out for you. So you don't need to get caught up in the worry. Okay. My happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. Yeah, the thing is, happiness and peace of mind are inside jobs. And that's not to say you aren't allowed to have your human experience and experience any and all emotions that come up. You should not deny yourself. You should not try to fake it. You should not be faking it and pretending like you're not feeling what you're feeling. But give yourself a chance to process your feelings, to feel them, and to release them. Because if you are fixating and latching on, let's say, the bitterness or resentment, the, hate, all of those negative emotions because of your past and all of the hurt that may have come, you are not trusting the universe, you're not having faith, you are not believing that it's possible for better to come in, and your narratives and beliefs can be self-perpetuating more of the same, and you don't need that. You can have a life that you love, a life full of joy and peace and happiness. But you gotta trust. You gotta believe that miracles are possible. You gotta believe that good things are happening for you. The universe is using anything and everything to your benefit. And if you expect good, good comes to you. If you're looking for the positive, the bright side, the silver lining, you're going to have a better experience. It's like the story of the Chinese farmer. The neighbors are, going on about, oh, this is bad luck. And it ends up, being good luck. But then the supposed good luck gets questionable and it seems like bad luck to the neighbors. And so they're like, oh, it's bad luck. But then it turns to be good luck. And so we don't have all the answers. We're just, one human having this limited human perspective, and what seems like this horrible thing may be the universe blessing us in disguise. So if we can trust, if we can have faith, if we can have hope, and not doubt, and to, stop trying to control everything, stop trying to force everything, stop saying that things have to be a certain way in order for us to be happy. If we can choose to be happy and grateful and, have peace and fun and all of that now, if we can make the choice to actively try to be that way, it'll work out so much better for us. And that's not to say it's always easy, but we get to choose how we show up in the world. We get to choose. We get to choose the narratives we're telling ourselves. What does your heart want? Be free to manifest your heart's desires. Yeah. Don't get so caught up in the mental chatter, as I was saying earlier. Because the mind, it loves to tell its stories. It loves to create these narratives about things. And then it'll be like, oh, this is the truth. And it's just like, okay, let's say you were meeting up with somebody and they were late or they didn't show up, this and the other. You can create these stories about, oh, how they don't like me, they don't appreciate me, I mean nothing to them, they're just taking me for granted, and maybe they were in a car accident, or, maybe they accidentally fell asleep and they overslept. I know that happened with my sister and her boyfriend. Like, he accidentally overslept and she got really mad at him. And that's not to say you're not allowed to have your emotions and to have your human experience, but the story that you're telling yourself may not be entirely true. As my aunt likes to say, your feelings are valid, but your perspective may not be true. Because, if you're attaching this narrative to it, the fact is the person in this example didn't show up on time or at all, but the narrative that you're just adding your spin on it is the why they didn't show up. So be mindful about the narratives you tell yourself, because it can trip you up with the mental chatter. But if we come from, our heart space, come from a place of love, focusing on what we truly want, it can make a world of a difference, and that can, help miracles and magic come in. Yeah, speaking of miracles happen. Give the universe your clear intention. That's the thing. When you can clear your mind, when you can get focused, when you can come from your heart space and what you truly want, and you can focus on that, you can give it your time and your energy, that's what's going to grow. So don't get so caught up in what you don't want. It's fine to have your preferences. It's fine to know what you want and don't want, but focus on what you want rather than what you don't want, because the universe doesn't know, like, in the sense of, like, no, like, don't give me this. It's just focusing on your time, energy, and attention, what you're focusing on. So that's what's going to grow momentum. That's what's going to show up more in your life. So focus on what you want. Don't get so caught up in the how. Just focus on what you want, how it will feel when it happens. That's going to help it build momentum and help it show up in your life. Yeah, let go of a fixed plan. Allow for spontaneity and growth. That's the thing. So often we can get it in our minds that we know what's best, that we know what will make us happy. We are so sure, and the universe can give us what we think we want plenty of times, what we were claiming we want, and it won't actually bring us the happiness, the peace, the success, and all that we really want. And it's because we're too rigid, we're too closed off, we're too, fixated on what we think we want, when the universe knows all of the components in play. It knows what we want, and it can help us get it. But if we're not allowing for that flexibility, that spontaneity, we close ourselves off to all these other avenues, all these other possibilities, all these other opportunities. So don't be so rigid and fixed in your mindset. Don't have that closed off mind and heart of what can happen, because miracles can and will happen if you give them the chance. But you got to be, flexible and adaptable, and not so, I know what's best, universe, do exactly what I say. Because it's not that you don't know anything, but you don't know everything. You're just one human. You're not the divine. You're not the universe. You don't know all the ins and outs. Yeah. Embrace the dark. Shine your true light upon this earth. And that's not to say that you have to love the storms or love the hardships and the struggles, but if you can embrace them, they can be springboards to the next best thing in your life. It can help miracles happen. It's basically like you're the seed that's planted. And when you're a planted seed, you're surrounded in the dark. And you may think that that's horrible, but it's in that darkness that you can sprout, that you can grow, that you can thrive. And, you know, it's hard when things don't go the way we want and it can seem like everything's falling apart. But sometimes breakdowns lead to powerful breakthroughs that just change everything in our lives. And again, miracles can and will happen if we give them the chance. So don't, fight against the dark. Don't fight against the storm in the sense of, oh, it's evil and I'm going to try to, control it and coerce it into submission and I can do it. I can do it, because that just ends up blowing up in our faces, It's the whole fixed mindset and having that rigid plan and the need for control. It comes back to bite us. And that's not to say that, we have to always do things a certain way. But we gotta have patience. Yeah, the turtle. We gotta go with the flow. We gotta trust the process, because everything has its divine timing. If we try to rush things, it can blow up in our faces, If we're trying to rush the process, like let's say you're making cookies. You try to rush the process and you don't mix it all the way and you throw it in the oven and you try to cook it at a faster rate because you're turning up the temperature, and you're oh, I'm trying to remember, there was a show or something. It's oh, if it's this at 10 minutes, then it'll be if I do it it was I don't know, 500 degrees for 30 seconds or something. It was something ridiculous, and it ended up setting the cookies on fire. So have patience, trust the process. If you try to rush things, you'll not enjoy the results. It's like the tortoise and the hare. It ended up backfiring on the hare because they were rushing and then they got cocky and then they fell asleep. And so if you just go at a steady pace, if you trust the process, if you keep going and making steps forward, it will all work out in the end. You'll have your success. You'll have, your victory and your prosperity and your happiness. And it's a choice. So don't rush. It'll all work out just fine. Yeah. The bear protection. You are very much protected by the universe. It loves you. You are a cherished child of the divine. And you don't need to worry. You don't need to get caught up in these fears. It's oh, I need to make it happen because I'm the only one looking out for me. It's no. The universe never forgets you. It never forsakes you. It never abandons you. It's here with you. Every step of the way. It's guiding you. It's nurturing you. It's supporting you. It's protecting you. So you got this. You got this. Trust your instincts, because a lot of times our mind can overrule our instincts and our gut intuition, and we talk ourselves out of things that we instinctually know. I know it's happened to me, where I'll get this weird feeling and I was well, there's no logical reason for me to feel this way. It makes no sense. And then it turns out that if I just listened to my gut feeling, that intuitive hit, I could have protected myself from an unpleasant outcome. And so just know that your instincts and your intuition are the universe is trying to nudge you and try to give you insights and clarity. And you can ignore it if you want, but it'll come back to bite us if we're not careful, And that's not to say it can't be a powerful learning experience, but yeah, we gotta be careful with what we do. Speaking of that, owl, your intuition is correct. Follow your inner wisdom without fail. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You are more aware than you give yourself credit. When you get caught up in the mental chatter, you can just end up further confusing yourself and throwing yourself off the correct path. Sometimes it is that simple, and you just need to listen to your intuition, your instinct. Sometimes it's that simple. That's all you need to do. Hawk, pay attention. A powerful message is being communicated to you now. Yeah, this is the universe saying it'll all work out. Everything's coming to you. You may need to be patient. You may need to, turn off your mind and get silence and quiet down the mental chatter so it can come in. So you're not, talking yourself in circles and, getting too caught up in what is quote unquote supposed to be according to your mind, and just like trusting the process and letting it flow and seeing how things play out. Giving yourself the chance to experience new by not having that, rigid expectation of this is just how it goes. It'll work out beautifully. Give yourself the chance. Crow, universal laws and truth are now being revealed. Use this energy to create your reality. Yeah. And a lot of that truth comes down to believing in and expecting love and miracles, to realizing that happiness and peace of mind are inside jobs, that you can leave the past behind, you don't need to keep doing it, that you can trust the process, that you can listen and follow your heart, that it won't lead you astray, that your instincts and intuition are here guiding you through the universe, saying, hey, try this way. And not getting so caught up in how things need to be according to your mind. Letting go of the fixed mindset. Because beautiful things can come from the unknown, the unexpected. Ow, good advice from a wise person. And this could be, an actual person, or it could just be, the universe coming in to talk to you because you're clearing your mind. And I find it interesting that the owl showed up twice. So yeah, this is very much wisdom coming into your life. So you don't need to worry about it. It's all going to work out beautifully. Flowers, happiness, yeah. You're having a lot more happiness and peace come into your life. And this feels like it's because you're learning to trust more. You're learning to go with the flow more. You're not, trying to coerce and control and force things, because we spend so much energy and time that could be better spent. Because if, we're paddling upstream and we're going against the flow and we're fighting the current, when we could just be going with the current, think of how much more progress you would make if you're not, trying to force your way up a stream. And it's like, maybe that stream is more like rapids. Like, you really think that it's going to work out nicely trying to go upstream with the rapids? It's going to throw you around and beat you up, and it's not going to be pretty. Versus if you go with the flow, instead of trying to force things, think about how much farther you go. And sometimes we just need to let go and just embrace what could be. Yeah, money path. A path with money is waiting for you to find it. And this feels like because you're letting go, you're opening your mind and your heart to possibilities, you're expecting good things and miracles. That's what allows it to come in. That's what allows you to see it. It could have been sitting right in front of you this whole time, but because you had, that more fixed mindset, or you were getting your belief of what is possible based off the past, maybe you had grown up and experienced all these friends and coworkers and whatnot struggling to make ends meet, and like that caused to believe like, oh, earning money to survive and thrive, it's really hard. You have to, work so many jobs to make it happen. You have to scrounge up, you have to penny pinch, you have to do all these things. But that's not all that's possible. There are other ways it can come in. Yeah, door. Opportunities are waiting for you. Opportunity is knocking. But it's up to you to open the door and walk through the threshold. You gotta give yourself that opportunity. Yeah. Harp, great happiness. Like, there's so much happiness coming in for you, all because you're taking things differently. Yeah. Success. Like, it's literally because you're doing things differently. All this new is coming in. firecracker excitement. Yeah, get excited. These miracles are working out for you beautifully. The universe is working its magic. It's working its magic. Yeah. Needle and thread, a sincere wish will be granted. You have so much good working out for you, you know? Look at this. The universe is wanting to work its magic, but you need to be a collaborator. You need to co-create with the universe instead of trying to fight against the universe, trying to dictate how things have to be, trying to, coerce and force and have that fixed mindset, because the universe will still try to work with you. But think about, trying to work with, whether that be a family member, a friend, a coworker, whoever, who has this fixed mindset of how things need to be. And, you may have more information. You may have like this update coming in. You're like, oh, by the way, if we do things like this new information just came in, it'll go so much easier. It's like, no, this is the way it has to be. And they're just like fighting you on every edge. They're like, no, it has to be this way. I know what's best. I've done this before, this and the other. And you know how they will fight you on it. And they'll get so rigid and they'll try to control things. And it's like, if you just let go, if you just, opened your mind to possibilities and this new information or whatever that's coming in, it could go so much easier. But that's how we can be with the universe. The universe could be trying to guide us to all this new insight, these new blessings, these new opportunities and possibilities. But when we get that closed mindset, we can be fighting it. And it's like, no, I have to do this. Like, I've dreamed of this job, and it has to be this way, and it has to look like this. This is my dream house. It has to look like this. It has to be in this area. The partner of my dreams, it has to be like this. Thing is, there could be something we enjoy so much more when we open our minds. So, yeah. The universe wants to give you so much happiness, so much success, so much prosperity, so much insight. And it's opening these doors for you, but it's up to you to walk through it. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Please take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Best wishes.